After 3 years abroad, I returned home and discovered my grandma working as a maid in the $1.05 million house I purchased, while my sister and her 3 kids lived there like they owned it. She didn't even know who I was. I called my lawyer that night. It was time to make things right. Start with a deep, resonant voice, perhaps a slight pause for emphasis. Can you imagine walking into your own home, only for your beloved grandmother to look at you like a stranger, while your sister casually treats her like a live-in maid? The words hit me like a physical blow. "Elvis?" she asked, her eyes searching, then sliding away. "You a friend of Mason's?" That was my own grandmother. My home. My money. My family. How did it all go so terribly wrong? My mouth went dry. "I'm family," I wanted to scream. She kept scrubbing the floor, no flicker of recognition. "Elvis," she repeated, like a name she'd heard on TV. I crouched to her level. "It's me, Grandma. It's Elvis." Before she could answer, my sister's voice cut in from the hallway. "Can you take the trash out already?" Maya yelled. "Also, we're out of the good yogurt. Get the blueberry kind next time." She walked into the kitchen, ponytail messy, leggings, a baby on her hip. She saw me, and she stopped. "Oh," she said, genuinely surprised. "You weren't supposed to come till Friday." "Hi, I managed." She shifted the baby. "Well, welcome, I guess. Don't mind the chaos. We didn't know you were popping in." Grandma, meanwhile, had gone back to the floor. The sponge squeaked. The baby reached for my glasses like I was a stranger on a bus. That was the first crack. Not the yelling. Not even the money. Just my own grandma, on her knees, scrubbing my paid-off floors, looking at me like I was a salesman. And the moment she didn't recognize my face, I placed the chocolates on the counter and breathed, slowly, through my nose. The translator in me, the professional listener, filed everything.
Tone. Words.
The mess. I swallowed the tirade rising in my throat. "Not yet." "Where's her walker?" I asked, my voice calm, almost too calm. "Garage," Maya said, waving a dismissive hand. "It clutters the hall." I nodded once, said nothing more. That first trigger landed like a stone in still water. The ripples were coming, I knew, but not here. Not yet. 3 years ago, the family group chat had lit up like a slot machine. My sister, Maya, was in a pickle. Her lease fell through. Her ex left. Could she stay with Grandma for a while? 2 months max. 3 kids in tow. "Just till I find a new place," she promised. At the time, Grandma rented a tiny house with steps. She'd fallen twice. I was in Tokyo, 17 hours ahead, translating a patent workshop, calculating risk on a subway. I called every lunch break. "We'll move her," I said. "Ground floor near her doctor. I'll handle it." I found the house, ranch style, wide doorways, big yard. A ridiculous price. Still, I wired the down payment and swallowed the mortgage like a cold pill.
Title in my name.
Utilities in my name. Insurance in my name. I made one simple rule. Grandma is the priority. Everyone else is a guest. The first month, I got 19 FaceTime calls from Maya. "Can you Zelle for groceries? The hot water is weird. Do you mind if I use your Amazon for a few things?" A few things turned out to be $600 worth of crib sheets, blackout curtains, learning toys. I didn't flip out. We were stabilizing, I told myself. Month 2. Unschooling supplies. Extracurriculars. Grandma likes this fancy probiotic. My phone became a calculator with feelings. I put everything on a spreadsheet named House. Cell F12 still says, Maya's oil change $89.99. Column H says LOL. I built a schedule for Grandma's meds. Set up pharmacy, delivery. Hired a cleaner for deep work once a month. But then the cleaner texted me after the second visit. "Hi, I'm so sorry. The lady said they don't need me anymore because there's house help." And I felt weird. "House help?" I called Grandma. She laughed. "I can still wipe a counter, Elvis." "You shouldn't be on the floor," I said, a knot tightening in my stomach. "It's not the floor," she said. It's just low. I asked Maya directly. What happened to the cleaner? We don't need strangers in the house every time, she said. Also, the chemicals she used smelled bad. Relax. Grandma's 83, I stated. Exactly, Maya retorted. She needs the exercise. My blood ran cold. One evening, while interpreting a late panel in Dubai, my phone lit up. 12 missed calls from home. Then a text from my neighbor, Mrs. Patel. Sweetie, is everything okay? The kids were throwing rocks at the side fence again. I told them to stop, but your sister said they're just expressing themselves. I messaged Maya. Please keep the kids out of the garden. Those orchids were from Grandpa's funeral week. She replied with a laughing emoji. Then she put up a sign. I started noticing the language shift. Your house became the house. The guest room became our room. When I came home for a week that spring, I found a chalkboard by the fridge with a schedule labeled Family Duties. Under Grandma, someone had written, sweep patio, fold laundry, make beds. I erased it. I wrote, Grandma rests. Full stop. Maya rolled her eyes. You're so dramatic. Boundaries aren't drama, I said. She shrugged. Well, boundaries are a two-way street. You can't just drop rules from overseas like a landlord. I am the landlord, I said, evenly. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Your family. After I left again, the bills crept up. Water spiked. Then electricity. 2 space heaters appeared on the bill in July. I asked why. Kids like it cozy, Maya texted. In August, there was a $379 charge for a trampoline. I wrote, return it. She sent a photo of the kids jumping, hair flying. Too late. They love it. September was the first emergency. Car broke down. Need $1,200 today. I sent $800 and asked for the invoice. She sent a screenshot of Venmo requests to 3 people. Caption: Community care. Every time I pushed back, I became the villain in a story where I owned the house and, therefore, owed the world. A cousin at a barbecue once said, "Heard you're rich now." I laughed. I translate presentations, I said. But the number that mattered wasn't my income. It was $3,487. That was the monthly nut: mortgage, insurance, taxes, utilities, meds, groceries. I could recite it in my sleep. Grandma started confusing days. Sometimes she'd call me at 3 a.m. my time and ask if I'd seen her blue cardigan. I'd humor her, open the closet via FaceTime, and talk about the weather. She'd settle if I promised pancakes on Sunday. Then last fall, I got a message from the HOA about a complaint. Domestics doing yard work during quiet hours. Domestics? We didn't have staff. We had Grandma. I asked Maya again directly. Who is cleaning? Grandma likes to keep busy, she said. She said it makes her feel useful. She is useful, I said, my voice tight. Her existence is useful. That's enough. Maya didn't reply. By winter, I was exhausted. I translated 8 straight weeks of technical panels and dreamed in other people's phrases. On my last job before coming home, I caught myself empathizing out loud into the mic. To clarify, he's not saying you can't do it. He's saying you can't do it for free. The whole room laughed because the truth sounded simple like that. I booked a flight home.
I didn't tell Maya the exact day.
I wanted to see the texture of the house without edits. I wanted to see if my fear was a story or a fact. And that's how I walked into my kitchen and found my grandmother on her knees with a sponge and my sister calling me, "You," like I wasn't me. Why is her walker in the garage? I asked again, my voice steady now, but laced with something colder. Maya shifted the baby to the other hip. Because she uses the counters, she said, like it was obvious. We're minimizing clutter. Chill. Where is she sleeping? I demanded. In the office. The office doesn't have the hospital bed. It does now, she said with a shrug. We swapped rooms because the kids needed the bigger one. Grandma looked up a little lost. I like the office, she offered, like a kid telling a teacher the assignment was fun. You like the window? I said. You don't like the narrow doorway? Maya snorted. He comes in once a year and wants to rearrange our whole life. I repeated, my gaze locked on her. She caught herself. Grandma's life, she amended, but it was too late. A boy ran in, full speed, socks sliding on the floor, and crashed into my shin. Ow, he exclaimed, offended, like I'd stubbed him. Where's the respect? Grandma said mildly, wiping at a phantom spot on the floor. I dropped my bag, walked straight to the garage, found the walker behind a stack of bins labeled Mui Keep. I brought it in. This stays, I said, placing it firmly against the wall. Maya watched me. You're making a scene? I looked at her, my eyes blazing. I haven't started. She lifted her chin. We're a family. We help each other. You offered the house. Don't act like it's a favor you can dangle. I didn't offer you a staff, I said, my voice dangerously low. I offered Grandma a home. It's both, she insisted. You can't separate it. I can, I said. I am. We stared at each other. The baby cooed. The TV shouted about a limited-time toy you absolutely needed. Dinner at 6, Maya said, like she was the host. We're ordering Thai. Can you grab the food? Your card's on the app. I was quiet for a long beat. The longest beat of my life. Then I said, very calmly, no. Her eyebrows shot up. No, I repeated. No to the card. No to the errands. No to you treating Grandma like a live-in. Maya's eyes glossed with tears, like someone had turned on a faucet. Her voice went high. You don't understand how hard it is with 3 kids. I'm doing my best. I believe you, I said. But your best doesn't get to be paid for with her knees. She blinked fast. So what? You're going to evict your own sister? In this economy. This isn't about revenge, I said, the words landing before I could dress them up. This is about closure. Closure, she repeated, like it was a punchline. I'm closing the gap between what I paid for and what's happening, I clarified. I'm closing the gap between guest and owner. I'm closing the gap where Grandma cleans your mess for rent you don't pay. She laughed once. An ugly sound. Rent? We're family. You said we could stay 2 months. I said it's been 19. I finished. She opened her mouth, then shut it. The baby began to fuss. One of the boys yelled from the hallway. Mom. He ate the blue Play-Doh. I looked at Grandma. Do you want pancakes tomorrow? I asked, my voice soft now for her. Her mouth quirked. With blueberries? She said. Yeah, I said. With blueberries. Maya's phone buzzed. She glanced at it. Look, I can't do this right now, she said. We'll talk after bedtime. I nodded. We'll talk tonight.
Fine, she snapped.
Just stop judging me. You've been on vacation. I thought of 12-hour days in headsets, in suits that pinched. Right, I said. Vacation. That night, after everyone fell into their screens, and then into sleep, I stood in the doorway of the office and listened to Grandma snore softly in a room that wasn't designed for her body. I set the walker by her bed. Then I went to the kitchen table, opened my laptop, and clicked open a folder labeled House. Legal. I didn't write an angry message. I wrote a list. Dates, amounts, promises, photos. I attached the HOA letter about domestics. The water bill spike. The trampoline receipt. I scrolled through texts where 2 months became, till the school year ends became, the kids need stability became, the market is crazy. I drafted one email. Subject, immediate steps. I kept the tone the way I speak when 2 CEOs are arguing. Neutral, plain, final. Then I called my lawyer. He answered on the second ring. Elvis, burning the midnight oil? Yeah, I said. It's time to set things right. I didn't sleep. I made coffee at 5:12 a.m. and watched the sky go from bruised to pale. The house was quiet in a way it never is online. No typing clicks, no translation relays, just the hum of a refrigerator I paid for and kids' artwork taped to cabinets I chose. At 7:03, my phone pinged. Lawyer. Got your email. We can proceed on 3 tracks. 1. Formal notice to vacate per guest agreement. 2. Immediate safety modifications for your grandmother. 3. Cost accounting for damages. Want me to draft? I typed yes to all three. Today, I cooked pancakes while the house woke up. The middle child wandered in, rubbing his eyes. Do you work here? He asked, sincere. I live here, I said. Like mommy? Like grandma, I corrected. Maya came in last, hair in a bun, scrolling. She didn't say good morning.
She saw the pancakes.
Oh, good. You cooked. They're for grandma, I said. And the kids. She poured coffee and leaned against the counter. So, about last night. You'll get an email this afternoon. I cut in. From my lawyer. She blinked. You're kidding. I slid a plate to grandma and cut a pancake into quarters. She smiled, blueberry on her lip. Elvis, Maya said, her voice low now, almost a whisper. You can't be serious. I am, I said. This stops. Her eyes filled. Where am I supposed to go? Asked you the same question 19 months ago, I said. You said 2 months. I swear it's not that simple, she cried. It wasn't simple when I bought this place, I said. I did it anyway. And you think paperwork will make you the hero? She whispered, venomous. Everyone will know you threw us out. I met her eyes. Everyone will know I stopped my grandmother from being a maid in her own home. Her jaw clenched. I never. You did, I said. Not because you're evil. Because it was easy. Silence. The kids argued about syrup. Grandma hummed, fork steady. At 11:27, the email went out. Notice to vacate in 60 days, with an earlier move-out incentive. I'd cover first month's rent somewhere smaller if she left in 30. A list of safety changes. Walker in the hall, rugs with grips, grab bars reinstalled, cleaning service reinstated weekly. And an offer. I'd pay for 3 afternoons of childcare a week for 1 month to help her pack. At 12:02, my phone started vibrating like it had a fever. Mom, are you serious? Aunt Lena. Family doesn't do this. Cousin Joe. Call me. This looks bad. Unknown number. You monster. Group chat. 47 new messages. Maya. 26 missed calls. I set the phone face down. I made grandma tea. At 2:40, my lawyer called. You'll get blowback, he said. Stay boring. Landlords lose when they get emotional. You're not a landlord. You're a grandson. But in writing, you're an owner, I finished. Got it. At 3:15, the first Facebook post went up. A screenshot arrived via 3 cousins. Imagine being thrown out with 3 kids by your own brother because he wants to set boundaries. The comments, praying for you. Men are heartless. He's probably jealous. At 3:20, I texted Maya. Please remove the post. We can keep this offline. She replied. It's my story. I wrote back. Then tell the whole story. I attached a photo. Grandma's knees on the tile. The sponge. The bucket. Caption this. No response. Day 2. My mother showed up with a casserole, like weaponry. She stood in the doorway and said, You won't actually put them on the street. No, I said. I offered to pay for first month and childcare. You're making Maya look like a bad mother, she accused. She's not a bad mother, I said. She made a bad situation permanent. You promised to support family. I promised to support grandma. I corrected. She's part of family, my mother's side. That heavy, disappointed sigh I grew up under. You think you're better because you have money now. I don't think I'm better, I said. I think I'm done. Day 5, the locks got serviced.
Not changed. Serviced.
The locksmith adjusted the sticky back door and replaced a loose strike plate. I sent Maya the receipt and a note. Safety. Day 7. The cleaner came back. She texted me a photo of fresh towels rolled like little hotels and wrote, She smiled so big today. Day 9. I moved grandma back to the big bedroom. Is this okay? I asked. She patted my cheek. My bones already said, Thank you, she said. That night, Maya cornered me in the hall. I found an apartment, she said. It's small. I'll pay first month. And the deposit? I pressed. And the deposit, she repeated. She swallowed. You're really doing this, she said, like it was finally dawning. Yeah, I said. I am. She stared at me. You changed. I translated storms for 3 years, I said. I learned how to say no in 6 languages. Turns out I needed it in 1. She looked at the carpet, then at me. Are you happy? She asked, like it was a trick question. No, I said. Not happy, but clear. Day 16. Movers came. The kids watched boxes like TV. Maya labeled with a Sharpie and a shaking hand. I loaded the heaviest things. At one point, she said, "Thank you." So, quietly, I wouldn't have heard if I was anyone else. Day 19. Grandma sat on the patio with a blanket over her knees and said, "I thought I lost you when you left."
You didn't, I said.
I got loud. She squinted at me. You were always loud, she said. Just not with your mouth. We both laughed. On day 27, Maya handed me her keys. She cried in the driveway. I didn't hug her first. I let her decide.
She did.
It was awkward, and wet, and real. That night, the house felt enormous. I did the thing you do after a breakup. I walked room to room, not to gloat, but to reset. I opened windows. I threw away 100 broken crayons. I patched 2 holes where a dartboard had been. I found the chalkboard schedule and erased it fully. Then I wrote, Grandma nap, walk, phone Elvis. I put a new photo up in the hallway. Grandma and me on the porch, both of us in sunglasses, her orchids behind us. The caption in my head said, "She knows me." And the phone? It kept lighting up. 74 missed calls one day, then 19, then 8, then 2. The silence after wasn't peace.
It was a consequence.
I let it be. People think closure is dramatic. A slam.
A door. For me, it was a rhythm.
Meds at 9 o'clock. Tea at 2 o'clock. Every Tuesday, pancakes. Every Thursday, we walked to the mailbox. And she told me stories I'd heard 100 times like they were new. I never corrected the details. What did it matter if it was her sister or her cousin who danced with a jazz musician in 1962? The point was her smile. One afternoon, I sat with her on the porch and explained what I had done in simple words. I told Maya she couldn't live here anymore, I said, because you are not the help. This is your house. She nodded. I like the big room, she said. And the grab bars. I laughed. Me too. Maya texts sometimes. Photos of the kids in a living room that looks like a starter kit. The kind of place where you begin again. She always adds a line. They miss you. I answer when I have capacity. I show the kids how to plant cilantro in a pot. I say no to requests that smell like the old days. I say yes to birthday cake. Mom still thinks I should have handled it quietly. She sends long messages about compassion. I reply with logistics. Grandma's appointment is at 10:30. Can you drive? Sometimes she does. Mostly she sends articles. A neighbor saw me pushing Grandma's walker down the block and said, "I heard there was family drama." I said, "There was." He said, "You did what you had to." I said, "I did what I promised." The moral isn't that I won. There was no scoreboard, no courtroom monologue, no triumphant soundtrack. The moral is that boundaries are love with a spine. I wrote a check for a house, but that wasn't the gift. The gift was refusing to let a promise warp into a job description for an old woman with soft hands and a sharp tongue who taught me that saying no is not cruelty, it's care. I used to think my role was translator. Make messy feelings polite. Make demands sound reasonable. Make my own needs sound optional. Now, I translate for one person only, myself. Here's the sentence that finally landed in my mouth without stuttering. I will not fund my own erasure. I won't bankroll chaos to keep the peace. I won't confuse silence with loyalty. I won't pretend that love means unlimited access to my wallet, my time, or my home. I will help, but not at the price of harm. I meant it then as a line in an argument. I mean it now as a way of living. Grandma recognizes me every morning. That's my closure. Not perfect, not cinematic, just a warm kitchen, a steady walker, pancakes on Tuesdays, and a door that opens to the person I actually am. And that's enough. Have you ever had to draw a line in the sand with family, even when it felt like the hardest thing you'd ever do? Or been in a situation where your generosity was completely taken for granted? I'd really love to hear your experiences and what you would have done in my place. Let me know in the comments below.